Find Heroes, Paul Gorman. Just Find Heroes, Paul Gorman.
Well, good afternoon. According to Toastmasters, this speech is supposed to be about the time that I was a protege, and it talks about the importance of having a mentor. Well, having read that, I felt despondent, despair, embarrassed. I've never had a mentor, never in my life. So I did what any sane person would do. I went to Google, because you know, Google knows everything. And I said, Google, do I really need a mentor? Google thought for a while. Finally came back and said, oh, nah, you don't really need a mentor. What you need are heroes. Boy, did I feel relieved. Because in my life, I've had a few heroes. And this morning, this afternoon, I want to tell you about a couple of them and a couple of the principles or the values that they've left with me. Those values are nothing ventured, nothing gained. Perseverance and hard work will pay off. And finally, shoot high. Now, my first hero was my grandfather. I grew up in northern Ohio. And my grandfather was first or second generation Swiss-German immigrant. He was a dairy farmer and very successful. He owned 3 farms. He took me to cattle auctions with him. He took me to a lot of different places. And he bought me pie and milkshakes. When I was 6, he taught me to shoot a rifle and how to drive the tractor. I remember on some of our trips, he would say more than one time, nothing ventured, nothing gained. He was out to buy cattle. What he meant by that was don't be afraid to take risks. You have to take a risk in order to benefit from what you go through. The other thing that he told me was, and taught me, was the value of hard work, perseverance. He said in his words, if you fall off the horse, the best thing that you can do is to get right back on. Perseverance, hard work, never give up, keep on keeping on. Well, those values served me very well through my educational experience, through the military. And after my military service, I got a job with a computer software company that, as a product sales manager, this was high risk. It was a new company. The software was new, 40 years ago, 1985. And the software had never been sold before. It was intended for high-powered systems engineers. And those guys would use this software to do the design and the development of high-speed data communication systems in order to look at throughput bottlenecks. And, oh, your eyes are going to glaze over if I keep on going. So I won't. Let me just tell you that this is high-powered software, way ahead of its time. When I was being hired, my boss, Joe, said, shoot high. By that, he meant set your goals high, because it doesn't take any more effort to strive for a large goal than it does a little goal. I heard him. When I moved into my office, I got myself a big whiteboard about twice the size of that screen. And it filled half the wall or more. On the vertical axis, I drew a line in tens of thousands of dollars. Along the bottom, the months. And I said, across the top, I drew a line that said $100,000 per month, new sales. That was my goal. Well, I was the laughing stock of the company. Who is this guy? Where'd he come from? How naive, how audacious to set a goal like that. Never been done before. So, the first year was pretty tough. I struggled to make 1 or 2 sales per month. Second year was a little bit better. The software got better, and our reputation started to spread through the industry. But in the third year, this nut hit an average of $100,000 per month in sales. I sold that software from birth to death. 15-year software life cycle. That's pretty good. I didn't average that all the time, but it had spin-offs of other products. Not bad. So, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Take a risk. Persevere, work hard. And shoot high, set high goals. And finally, we all need heroes. I know that you're not a dairy farmer from Ohio. I doubt that you guys are, many of you, computer software sales engineers. You're certainly not systems engineers. You don't work for Boeing, you don't work for Lockheed, you don't work for any of those big companies. You're not dealing with really sophisticated products, but set those goals high. And finally, find yourself a hero. You don't need a mentor. You have one, great, that's lovely. But find yourself some heroes, people that you can look up to emulate. And that's my story. Sticking to it.
How fortunate are we to have 3 fabulous speakers today and 3 fabulous topics. At this time,